Imagine God, the devil, and man walk into a bar, and the man wants to ask God and the devil about semen retention. And man asks both of them simultaneously, what's taken so long? How come I'm not transmuting this energy better? How come I'm having such a hard time getting rid of the urges? What am I supposed to do about these urges? I can't get rid of the temptation. I can't get rid of the desire. And the devil says something along the lines of, well, just keep counting the days. You just keep counting the days and you'll get there eventually. You'll get there eventually. Just keep counting the days and just keep track of everything that you're doing all the time. You'll get out of it. You'll get out of it eventually. And the man says, oh yeah, that makes sense, right? That makes a lot of sense. Just keep track of the days and keep track of everything. Little does he know that it's the devil that he's speaking to, right? And then God says to him, the man, God says, why not be a little bit retarded and stop thinking about all of the things that could go wrong or you need to do or you have to do? And why don't you just start being aligned with who you actually are and transmute the energy a little bit better by using the urges to create something or to do something with your life? And the man sits back and he's like, oh, okay, that makes a lot of sense actually. And then you hear the devil in the background, ugh, why'd you have to do that? Hate it when he figures that out, right? Well, what exactly is going on there? In that scenario, what exactly is going on there? Well, the devil is trying to put you in a time loop. The devil's trying to keep you on a track, okay? God's trying to free you from even thinking there was a track to begin with. So semen retention, and welcome everybody to another Semen Retention Sunday episode here on the Regal Change account. I am Thaddeus, and we're going to be talking about this today because I think it's important for people to truly understand what they're up against. And the best scenario is to tell a story sometimes about what's really going on here. Because sometimes the story is only going to be the way that people can understand things. It's not really going to be what they can tangibly feel or touch or see or taste or smell or whatever the case is. It's going to be a story because the story is going to resonate with them. And so I hope that story about the walking into the bar was of use and utility for you, because that's really what it is. The devil wants you stuck on a timeline. He doesn't want you to break out of the timeline. He wants you to be forced into submission to something that is external. God is internal. Okay, so when your timeline is focused on the external instead of the internal, oriented from a place of timelessness, you're going to be put into timefulness. And timefulness is going to destroy your ability to see things clearly. It's going to destroy, and you might not even know it because you might be manufactured as a construct through manufactured information. And what I mean by this is that when you are operating from a place of timefulness and not timelessness, you are on a series of timelines that are colliding simultaneously, and you're not quite sure which is which and what is what and who's who, but you think you do. You think you do. But deep down you know that it's not the case. Deep down you know what's actually going on, but you just don't want to admit it to yourself. So what I would encourage you all to do a little bit is to, number one, stop thinking about the days. Stop thinking about how many days it's been or like how many days you can go. Don't even try to get rid of the addiction. That's what I would recommend. And a lot of people might be like, well, what kind of advice is that? Well, I'm not giving you advice, I'm giving you direction. And you don't have to take the direction. And I don't really give advice. I just tell people what's working for me and what's not working for me. And I go from there. And so, the thing that I think about the most when it comes to this kind of stuff is, how do I orient myself on a proper timeline that can maximize my own potential and reduce friction? Well, the way that you do that is, number one, with semen retention specifically, is that you stop trying to stop watching things, or you stop trying to like, oh, I can't look at this, or I can't look at that, or I can't feel these things, I can't feel that. Stop telling yourself what you can and cannot feel. Just accept what you are feeling. There's nothing you can change about it anyway. Again, remember the story. Like like the man is basically desiring not to desire, and you can't do that. You want to talk about, I don't want to desire. I can't desire. It's like, no, what you're desiring is not to desire. So you're still desiring, right? You're still desiring, and you're still thinking about what you want to not think about. So you're not really helping yourself. You're just putting yourself on a track toward self-sabotage and self-destruction. It's amazing how humans have this amazing ability to take the beautiful things in life and just sometimes destroy it through complexity. Everybody's trying to take your responsibility away from you while telling you that it's your responsibility. And the thing is that you get really confused with this. And you get really confused because the responsibility that we have, especially on semen retention, comes to the conclusion that it's not necessarily that we can't feel these things or that we shouldn't feel these things. It's that, can you bear the responsibility yourself? And is your meditation strong enough? Is your prayer strong enough? Is your connection to God strong enough to override those temptations? Because I would say that if you cannot override those temptations, and you're not really as close to God as you want to believe you are. And if you're always looking at this or you're always looking at that online about how to like it's like the 5 ways to stop trying to chase women, or 10 ways to get women to like you, or like whatever these things are, right? It's just, why? Who cares? Like who really cares about whatever is going on with these 5 ways? Like everybody wants to be told what to do. Have you ever noticed that? Like, and you've been conditioned to believe that that's the right thing to do, is to be told what to do. And the problem is that, like, I've been thinking about this a lot recently, and I think that it's one of the reasons why people gravitate toward me time and time again, because I've had multiple people come back, like after they leave the channel or they leave my calls or whatever, or the academy, they come back, and it's like, well, what exactly is that? You know, like why did you come back exactly? Not that I'm not going to welcome, not that I'm not going to welcome you back, but it's like, why did you come back? And almost always they said that I realized that I just didn't want to hear something that you had to say about this thing. And I just didn't like the way that you said it. And I said, well, what about the way that I said it was kind of, irritating or maybe off-putting? It's like, well, you just said it so matter-of-factly, essentially, right? That's the majority of the people, right? And so what I came to believe, not even believe, this is my reasonable series of events conclusion, is that because there's cause and effect in this timeline, right, that I'm thinking about, what I'm seeing is that people who follow me, people who subscribe to me, people who are doing one-on-ones calls with me and Godlike Master Initiation call with me and the Regal Change Academy, all these people, they don't become my followers. They don't become my subscribers. They become individuals. That's what happens. And that's what I'm encouraging you to do and to think about in these types of videos, is because I want you to see that you don't have to play by the rules of the world. Okay, you don't have to. Now, of course, yeah, we're gonna have things that we have to do in order to like live, right? Like you need money to live, for example, right? Everybody needs money to live. And I don't understand why so many people get so upset about this. It's really not, it's like, yes, it sucks, but it's kind of helpful. You know, it's kind of helpful and useful to understand how money works and how to use money with a sense of grace, because it allows you to be living on multiple timelines at once, right? Like, let's say, for example, you have, I don't know, a year's worth of wages saved up, and maybe you even got them in some ETFs, or you've got them in some other hard assets like gold, silver, Bitcoin, or whatever, right? Even if you're not working, what you own is working for you. It's appreciating in its value. Even though, yes, there's going to be inflation and such, like especially over the last year, anybody that's in the United States knows that over the course of every 36 days at this point, you're losing 1 cent per dollar that you own. So within the next 10 years or so, that $1 bill that you have in your wallet, yeah, it's not going to be worth anything. In 10 years, it's not going to be worth anything. It's going to be, because that's just the math plays out that way, right? So what semen retention allows you to do is you are investing in yourself. You're investing in responsibility for yourself. You're investing in accountability for yourself. And now you realize that it's not the temptations that are the enemy. It's not the urges that are the enemy. It's not the feeling of desire is not the devil. What the devil is trying to keep you stuck in those desires. That's what the devil is, okay? And it's the same type of thing with finance. It's the same type of thing. And this is why people come back to me, is because I don't force them into anything. I don't force them to do anything. I don't force them to believe anything, because I don't believe in trying to make people believe things. I just don't. I will speak the truth how I see it, and I'm not going to be silent about it, especially if I disagree with someone. I'm not going to let my silence be an indicator that I agree with them. I'm going to disagree. I'm going to voice my opinion. But that doesn't... Interesting how I just start talking about how if I disagree with someone, I'm not going to let my silence be an indicator that I agree with them, and I'm not going to be silent about it. And then sure enough, my phone all of a sudden has a random freak out and the video stops. So spiritual attacks are already happening because of this, right? It's so crazy how, you know, just being who you are is going to get you in a position where, just by being in the matrix, so to speak, right? Like the system, whatever you want to call it, we all know that it's some kind of construct. Just by being yourself in the construct, you're just naturally going to like have these weird issues sometimes. And sometimes I feel as though, because we are electromagnetic beings, I genuinely think that it's entirely possible and entirely reasonable that technology problems are going to occur when you're operating at a higher frequency. It just is going to be that way. And the reason that it's going to be that way is because, well, I mean, the technology that you're using is having a signal, right? But you're having a signal as well. And so if the system doesn't want you to talk about certain things, or the system doesn't want you to reveal certain things, or to be who you are, because that's exactly what I'm saying. It's like every single thing in society is designed to ensure that you never take full responsibility for yourself, and that you always have somebody else to be like, you're not independent from anything in this system, in this construct. You're not really independent from anything. You kind of have to rely on the system. And I'm not saying that that's like a bad thing per se, but what I'm saying is, yeah, we have to play the system to play the system. Because you don't, in poker, right? You don't play the cards, you play the person across from you. And the person across from us in this case is going to be the system. And the system, it's so interesting to think about as a construct because, again, it comes back to like how much of this information that we have today, how much of the information that we have in our day and age is manufactured? How much of it is manufactured? And are the data points of everything that we see, how much of it is actually verifiable? How much of it is true? Because if you ever notice that a lot of these people and places and things, they're all just citing themselves. They're like, oh yeah, this is true because my friend said it. Like that's like the worst thing about peer review in the universities and in the governments and institutions and all that. Everybody's just quoting each other and being like, oh, well, it's true because, well, he said so. Okay, well, how do we verify that? How do we verify that? But anyway, that's another topic. But point is that I'm not going to be silent. And I don't think anybody else ought to be silent either when it comes to talking about what they truly think the world is going into. But also, you have to be mindful of how you might be doing something that you're preaching against and you don't even know it. That's why it's so important to be aligned. Be aligned. Don't have any type of internal contradiction. Otherwise, you're literally going to create friction for no reason. And also remember that, like, to some degree, the experiences that you have are going to be the only thing that you can truly rely on. Like, your experience is going to be the only thing that can be verified within you. And that's it. And so think about that from a place of, especially with semen retention, stop trying to think your way through this. Stop trying to think your way through life. Thinking is a good way to travel. Sure. Like, what's the Moody Blues? Is that the name of the band? Like, thinking is the best way to travel. Like, that's true. But also remember that, yeah, you're just traveling. Okay, you're just a traveler. You don't need to think too much about everything. You don't need to be too focused on what other people are doing. Only focus on being truly responsible for who you are becoming and who are you making yourself to be and why you are making yourself into that way. And choose a timeline that doesn't keep you stuck in a time loop. Choose a timeline that gives you options. Choose a timeline that doesn't force you to believe anything, but allows you to maneuver however you need to so that you can stay aligned. I think that's a good way to think about it. So I hope that this video was useful and insightful for you. I hope everybody stays blessed. Join the RCA. We have the free tier, right, that people can check out. That'll give you access to the community itself. And then we have the premium tier, where the premium tier is fully involved with the group calls and the classes. That's really the creme de la creme of the RCA. But I also have, as I mentioned before, the one-on-one sessions as well as the Godlike Master Initiation Program. I hope everybody stays blessed. Peace. Until next time.